Good morning, traders. Paul here with GammaEdge. Today is Tuesday, the 9th of May. Let's get started. Pause your players here. Read to the very bottom. If you agree, hit that play button. Summary for today, kind of mixed. Short-term models, which are applicable to our zero DTE traders as well as swing traders. Our cumulative tick model closed below the previous day. This is a trigger day short, and this is a whipsaw from Monday, and it's been back and forth, as most of you are aware. That's what happens in trend following systems. Railroad track pattern, you'll see that on the next slide. We have a continuation day up, so if we have any strength today, that will move us forward. But if we have any weakness today, we could actually see it reverse. Watch for reversals. We're in this kind of horizontal, no definitive trend type of environment, and the reversals come fast, daily, and as a result, you've got to be nimble. Shorten your time frames. Don't get out over your ski tips. Our longer term model, we are mixed with a mixed bias. On the TIKRC, which is the US composite, CT crossed above the lower moving average. That's good. It's a step in the right direction. Kind of confirming that is the TIKRC, which is the ARCX. That is comprised of the NYSE, the NASDAQ, and the Amex exchanges. We call it the quality tick. It's continuing bullish signal. It's actually pretty strong overall over the longer term. The TIKSP, which is the tick for the S&P 500 stocks, it's above the ribbon, but it's very weak. The TIKQ, which looks at just the NASDAQ. Remember, NASDAQ does not have financials. The CT crossed the lower moving average from above. This is actually a bearish indication and shows some weakness in the technology stocks, especially now that Apple's off the table. The Russell 2000, it's confirmed down. It crossed the lower MA from below, which is it's trying to rear its head to the bullish side, but it's it's weak, and hence we colored this orange. So a mixed bias. You can see that we really are in this transitory phase, either up or down, and we don't know. Market breadth, viewed by the 52-week new highs and new lows, had the 52-week new highs outpacing the new lows again. Weekly bullish. So this is day 2. We need continuation of this to have confidence to go long. But this mixed period up here, or mixed interpretation up here, with breadth starting to improve to the bullish side, is giving us some confidence that we're slightly bullish, very, very slightly bullish. Taking a look at the ES, although it's small relative to the SPY, the SPX PM, the SPX AM, and then the combo complex, it does tell the story of a spring that is coiling. What we mean by that are the transitions are dropping, and when we see the transitions dropping, that's positioning to take advantage of convexity of gamma. But we've also seen minus GEX moving up, and that's indicating positioning for a drop. So think of a vice. We're squeezing price in two directions to take advantage of convexity. Whether the convexity is upward or downward, we don't know, but we are seeing that narrowing. 41.25 to 41.35 remains the common transition range right now. A close below this starts to move towards 4100, where we really need to see out-of-the-money call speculators entering across all the timescales. We have a large amount of expiries of calls that are occurring, and if we don't replenish those, it just continues to strengthen the bears in the put side of the equation. For the zero DTE folks, we have a lot of them in the Discord. 4130 is N trans. This is negative trans. And 4135 is the zero DTE P trans. Both of them have moved up, which is slight bearishness as the puts were added. So just be aware of that. We could see some downward pressure because of this. It is anticipation of that. Upward charm dominance really starts at 4140 and then again 4150. We have this dual structure that we talked about yesterday. Above 4150, most likely we'll see a drift upwards towards that 4070 to 4075 zone. We don't think we're going to go much further than that unless we see targeting today. And you'll just have to watch the $ value command within the Discord. 4190 appears to be the upper contribution from zero DTE unless we get just a wild day and a lot of pounding up towards 4200. We do not see anything near the 4190 today. Lower charm dominance is 4110. But note on the way down, we've got this 4130 and 4120. If absorbed, we lose that those strikes. They become out of the money, and that'll start becoming supportive. But if we do absorb that 4130 and 4120, the deltas and just the overall general flow today could push us to 4100 and lower. So just be aware of that. Don't get out over your ski tips. The market model via the cumulative tick, this is really three things that are superimposed here. We are starting to get a little bit of an uptrend that the eye can see in the longer term ribbon. That's good. And you can see they're starting to get pulled upward by this white line being above them. This is bullish. There's just no other way to describe it. We've back tested this several ways and have presented the results in the Discord many different times. And anytime the CT remains above the ribbon, that is a bullish expansion, and you expect pullbacks, daily pullbacks within a longer term bullish type of presentation. Now, that being said, we did close a little bit weaker than yesterday, but the ribbon, which has got a little bit more momentum to it because it uses moving averages, is still showing a bullish type phase. And so this is a continuation for the what we call railroad track pattern. It's a reversal, slightly downward pattern for the CT, but long-term bullish for the overall markets. Not predictive, but certainly there is some momentum here, and we watch this. As I said with the ES, we've got some drops in the transition ranges. We've also got a move up here of the minus GEX level, and so we're starting to squeeze price. When we see that, we're going to potentially move in one direction or the other, so just be aware of that. Taking a look at the PM settled complex, we are continuing to see the growth of long calls and short puts. The GEX structure is moving decisively into a more positive environment with respect to the trader. And so that's always something to note. This is a call-dominated structure right now for the PM settled complex. Transition's very tight. You can see out-of-the-money call speculators. We have in-the-money calls down to about 40-50, and still some remnants of some out-of-the-money puts that are coming through that may or may not vaporize. We'll just have to see how that goes. 4150 is indicated, 4,000 to the downside, and then the open high-low close worst case expected move 1.32%, which puts us up right around the 4,200, and you can see down here right around the 4075. Probably aren't going to be anywhere near that today. We rarely go to the worst case expected move. 0 DTE, very tight as I indicated. Got a lot of a lot of calls coming off the structure. Most of them are below us. These are in the money. That is a problem if we don't start advancing upward. And why I say that is most people typically do not buy deep in the money calls to replenish. Why would you do that? You don't use options to do that. You use options to play the convexity to the upside. So when we start losing our base, it can expose more of the put domination down below. So we're going to be watching this. We do have this double structure. We talked about this yesterday. One of the possible pinning areas into overnight was this 4145 because it rests between the two. We didn't get there. Made a couple runs during the day at it, but this is just too strong. So we've got this double gamma structure that's sitting right here. Important to realize that into this structure, it's going to be very difficult to advance above it. But if we do, this 4070, 4075 zone could be indicated. The 1 DTE, about the same type of transition range. Overnight parking sitting right here. We've got a 4160 that's sitting here and a 4050 that's sitting down here. Note that fairly strong for tomorrow. Wednesdays are a little bit stronger, so we do expect this to build as we go forward here. 4125, 4135. That's kind of the line in the sand. And there's a common theme here, right? 4125, 4135, 0 DTE, 4130, 4135. And you look here, 4125, 4130. So very common transition range. You know if we drop below that things are going to change. Taking a look at the crystal ball for the balance of this week. What we're looking at effectively here is we've got that double gamma structure that we know expires today. A couple parking spots that if we do break, where we would probably pause. This is just the expires for the week, and this will remain in place until it goes away, right? So it has to be navigated until it vaporizes on its respective day. To the north, we've got a fairly clear runway past 4,200. That is all call dominated. These are out of the money calls. That's a positive environment for advancement. Do have a couple pockets within transition. We tend to ignore those. This one is probably more relevant. This is right under a Livermore level of 4,100. So this 4095, 4,100 level is important. And then down here at 4050. So we're looking at the overall ranges. Don't think 4,200 is above 4,200 is going to happen this week. We'll just have to wait and see what happens here. Finally, taking a look at the combo complex, we've got out of the money call dominance, we've got in the money call dominance below us, and why this is very, very important. This is a great runway for advancement of the bulls. If there was any picture that I would say, what are you looking for in a bullish scenario, it's this picture. Very, very clean. We're continuing to get growth of long calls and short puts in terms of GAX exposure. And when we see that, those are short dated. Those are the expectation of a bullishness. And so all things considered, we're very positive. We will say, though, we are a little bit of extended. And note the range for transition is a little higher than the PM complex or the 0DT or the 1DT. When we see something like that, it gives us pause. The reason it gives us pause is this is much, much bigger than any of those others. So notional value and the amount that we move around in here swamps the boat on the PM, the SPY, the ES, etc. And so when we see something like this, we pay attention. It is indicated lower. So we would not be at all surprised of a pullback towards transition. It would still be safe as long as we kept the out of the money call dominance and the in the money call dominance two below us. So looking to see that, you can see there is some potential for some weakness down here in this area, this particular area here in terms of the deltas. Same thing exists up here. But overall, very, very strong structure. We like it. We're bullish, not overly so for the reasons we said earlier. But with the CT being what it is, with this structure being what it is, as long as the out of the money call speculators continue to step up, we should be in good shape. Final picture here is landscape view. I like this view, just gives you kind of a quick summary. Here's the transition, not very clean, but it's very tight, right? So it's below 41, a close below 4,100 would be emboldening the bears, a close and remaining above 4,120 emboldens the bulls, and you can see, we've got 4,200 up here is the right goalpost, 3,900 is down here is the left goalpost. The 4,300 strike did drop a little bit yesterday, but in the big picture of things, looking pretty solid as long as we remain and close above the 4,120 strike. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, whatever, come on in to GammaEdge.us. Click on that web page in the upper right-hand corner, pricing, fill out the blanks, come on in, 14-day free trial, all the tools turned on. Great group of traders, very active in voice, calling out what we're seeing, changes, etc. Ask your questions. It's just a fun place to be. Follow us on Twitter, GammaEdges with an S, and then here on YouTube, two things. If you like today's commentary, thumbs up. Smash that like button because I want to get immediate feedback that I'm providing content you find useful. And of course, subscribe because Taylor and I post videos and we want you to see what we're seeing. So with that, I will bid you farewell. Make it a great Tuesday and hope to see you in the Discord. Thanks, everyone.